It's Sunday night, and this is the Conjugal Visit on KGFRocks.com.
Yeah. Welcome to the Conjugal Visit on KGFRocks.com through Spreaker. I'm Free Ride along with my friend here, Mr. Guido. Guido, how's it going, man? What's the matter, man?
Nothing's bad. I just I got a case of the gas over here. The studio starting to smell like sulfur.
Dude, it hit me earlier. Of course, I had chili for dinner, right? And,
yeah.
Dude, I let one rip a minute ago. Woo! I swear, my eyes were watering, man. It was bad. It was fucking ugly. It was.
Well, it's a good thing we're in separate studios.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, you set off the fire alarm with that one.
I did. That was bad. Fire alarms and all going off.
Yeah, it's got fire alarms going off and shit. So, anyways, what's going on, man?
Not much. Just hanging out on this Sunday evening.
Well,
chilling like a villain.
Chilling like a villain, yeah.
Listen to Bob Dylan.
Listening to Bob Dylan, chilling like a villain, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It never did make sense out of any of the shit he said, but his music was. Yeah. He was a mumbler.
He was.
He really was. What'd you say, man? Say that again.
Well, it's just like Ozzy talking too, and you got to get subtitles when Ozzy's talking.
Right. Yeah. He speaks a completely different language. It ain't English. I guarantee you that. No.
All you can hear is Sharon. He won't be saying that no more.
Well, tonight we've got on the editor-in-chief and owner of a online magazine, a web magazine, and it's called Death by Metal, STL, and they cover bands and rock bands and new bands and indie bands and heavy metal and death metal and thrash metal and all that shit combined into one. And we're going to get our listeners an education tonight about heavy metal, and hopefully they can keep up. Hopefully they can keep up.
Gene Simmons says if it's too loud, you're too old. So
yeah, well, I'm too old. I got a headache last night in the middle of the show last night.
Well, we know that.
I went out to the Black Carpet Affair where we were nominated for Best Supporting Radio Station. We didn't win, but it was nice to be nominated. And
sure.
I want to just send out a thank you to Yvonne at VQM Magazine, Voodoo Queen Magazine, and also Voodoo Queen Management. And they put on a hell of a show last night. They had bands there, dude, man. Love the Hate. They had Conquest Metal. They had Maximus there. I mean, they had 7 different bands played last night at this show, and it was a great time. And they gave out awards and stuff, and I got to plug the station on stage, so that was very cool. Thanks to Yvonne for that. It was great to see my good friend Rob Boyer last night. Man, we had a fucking conversation about the differences between doing an acoustic show and doing a full electric show. Yeah. And these guys' perspective is completely different than what I thought it would be. They said it's hard to convert from heavy metal, and then I was speaking with Blackie Starks from Maximus, and he said, you know what? He said they originate in acoustic form when they write the song, but they
Right.
convert it to metal. But converting that metal song back over to acoustic is harder than it looks. And they got to really practice a long time to get it right. And it was really a cool conversation. I wish I had recorded it. It was awesome. We had a great time last night.
Well, even Richie Blackmore went from metal to kind of classical acoustic guitar, Baroque style music,
Right.
And it is harder. And if you listen to Richie Blackmore, he's such a great guitar player, and people don't even give him enough credit.
Right. Yeah, they said that doing, and especially doing an acoustic set, because then you can get lost in your music, and that makes it really tough. But Love the Hate did an acoustic show last night, and it was unplugged, and it was really cool. It was a great show, and they even did a George Michael cover last night.
Which song was that?
Oh God, what the hell is it?
Was it Faith?
No, it wasn't Faith. Something Rhythm. Oh gosh,
Rhythm.
Yeah, ain't got no rhythm. Oh damn it! I'll think of it when I'm not thinking about it.
Wow.
God damn it! It's
That's
bad.
pretty sad.
I'm terrible, man. I really am fucking terrible. I should have looked this up before I even fucking started talking about it.
Yeah, you should have. Well, let's see. Was it a hit, Michael song?
Yeah, it was a hit.
Well, he doesn't have that many. I Want Your Sex. Was it that one?
No. It wasn't that.
Was it a Wham or George Michael?
It was a George Michael song. I think it was. I can't think of the name of it. It was a hit. It was definitely a hit. It wasn't with Wham. It was in his solo career.
I can't help you if you can't,
Oh, damn it! It was a cover. Oh, I want you.
This is fun.
Yeah, no, it's not. It's not fun at all.
I think so.
You think it? I think it was a George Michael song.
Let's move on.
Let's move on. Let's let's just move on. Okay. I'll think of it later when I'm not thinking about it.
Right.
He just. Oh well. I'll keep looking for it here somewhere. It was an 80s song. It was a 90s song.
Was it an 80s or 90s song?
It was an 80s song, I think.
It's going to bother. Was it?
It's bothering the hell out of me.
Father Figure?
It was a slower song. One of his slower songs.
Oh, one of his slower songs.
Yeah.
I don't know. Father Figure?
No, that wasn't it. Yeah,
Freedom?
Yeah, you're buzzing real big.
You're buzzing.
No, you're buzzing.
I'm not buzzing. I wish.
You're buzzing. Yeah.
Am I still buzzing?
Yeah, you're still buzzing. But that's all right. It's not too loud.
How about now?
Nope. Still buzzing.
No, I'm not doing nothing. I'm just asking you. How about now?
Yeah, you're buzzing.
Yeah. All right. Well, anyways.
Anyway, anyway, they did the acoustic set, and it was really phenomenal to hear an old classic. It was more like a pop song, but they made it their own, and they really did a good job with it. And several other tunes, and I got to listen to some Maximus, and also got to listen to some Conquest metal. And it was just a whole lot of fun. We had a blast, and that's all there is.
Well,
to that.
I'm glad that we didn't win that, because if you watch like the history of like Oscar winners and Grammy winners and shit, somebody wins and then all of a sudden like, oh, best picture or best actor, and all of a sudden they never fucking work again.
Yeah.
I mean, there's very few that win awards that, go on to win more or, stay famous. But if I read you the list of the past 10 winners of the Academy Award for Best Actor and Actress, you would be like, not remember the person, be like, oh yeah, I forgot about that, because nobody wins, and it seems like it's a death sentence for them.
It is a death sentence for them. A lot of them. I mean, not all of them, but a
Well,
lot
because
of them.
that's your best work now. You just got awarded Best Actor or whatever over everybody else, and now how can you do better? I mean, you got to.
Yeah.
You always are going to be labeled by that Academy Award or that Best Album or whatever, because what can you do better now? You did your best.
Right. Well, you can. I mean, there's actors who have.
Well,
Al
yeah, there
Pacino,
is. Al Pacino, Tom Hanks.
Tom
you know,
Hanks. They all did better.
Yeah. But then there's ones you never hear from again, like Mara Sorvino, who won the Oscar, and then she was doing comedies like Romeo and Shell's High School Reunion. It's like, how do you go from winning the Academy Award for the best actress in the world to doing those kind of stupid?
Who played Legally Blonde?
Legally Blonde was Reese Witherspoon.
She did really well for a long time, and she hasn't done anything in quite a while, has she?
No, and not that she does, but it's not like she's not one of those names anymore. You know, where that's what happens a lot too, especially with the women actors. The older they get, it's like society's so harsh on them. And they
turn into the supporting actress.
Right, but the male actors are still kind of, some of them are leads, and they're old. Sean Connery probably had a better acting career as he got older than he did as younger,
Right. After 007, it was like, okay, he had a lull, and then he got back into it again.
Yeah, when he got his gray little beard, and he was the older guy. He was like the Heineken guy, or the, not Heineken guy, the most interesting man in the world.
Dos Equis. Dos Equis guy.
And that's what happened. The older he got, the better his career got. And then other people like, Burt Reynolds, the older he got, he just disappeared.
Yeah. Yeah. And if they stay liberal as they can, they keep working too.
Well, that's the hard part.
Right,
that is true. Hollywood today, and all society today, all media and music is all liberal, run by liberals. And if you don't see eye to eye with them, you're not going to work again.
Yeah, there's a lot of guys that aren't working anymore. They used to work a lot because of their political beliefs.
Sure, Matthew McConaughey went out on a limb, supporting Trump, and
it's cost him. I think it's cost him a little bit.
No, and it shouldn't, because politics, your belief is in, shouldn't do anything about your work, because it's separate. I mean, just like if you work at a factory and you want to vote for somebody, doesn't mean you should lose your job because you like the opposite candidate. That's bullshit. That's not Russia. This is not Russia. This is America. This ain't a third world country. We have the right to choose who we want.
Right. Oh yeah. Absolutely, we should be able to pick and choose who we want, but it goes to ticket sales, and they don't promote the shows, they don't promote the movies, and then the actor suffers from it, or they get these really shitty roles,
Right.
They don't do anything. I thought that the Country of Jones was a good movie. It didn't get any ratings or reviews at all, man. They just left it in the dark. It was a good movie.
What movie is that?
The Country of Jones with Matthew McConaughey.
Then there's actors who do their own thing, like Clint Eastwood, who can say whatever the fuck he wants because he just does it all. Right. And maybe McConaughey can call him up.
Yeah, maybe they can do a movie together because they both do. They both are in that realm of conservative versus liberal.
Sure, and back in the older days, like in the first years of Hollywood and television and all that, it was all conservative run.
Oh yeah.
That's why television that's why you had the two beds on I Love Lucy, and you had,
the two beds on Dick Van Dyke.
Right, no kissing really. It just had to be like a little peck, and, because it was a conservative run organization, then, it became more liberal, and now there's just about everything on television.
Right. Well, they couldn't control it all, I don't think. I think that's the biggest issue of it, Yeah,
why not?
You got HBO. You've got these other channels that are not governed.
But they're all owned by liberals. They're all owned by
Yeah,
people
that's true.
that have identified with liberalism and democratic politics and whatever. There's only a handful. Even Fox, who is supposedly more of a Republican conservative news network, is owned by Rupert Murdoch, who is anything but conservative. So there's nothing really that's conservative. All the conservative.
Well, he's out of it now. He retired. Actually,
he retired. He still owns it though.
Well, no, he owns shares in it, but he stepped down because he was pretty controversial.
Well, he stepped down, but he still owns News Corp.
Have you seen some of the fucking women on the shows on Fox?
No, you're talking about Bill O'Reilly.
No. Rupert Murdoch was brought up on charges too.
Yeah, but he still owns the company. He's still the principal owner.
That's why a lot of these
Corp.
women decided to get up and leave. Greta Van Susteren and a couple of the others left Fox because of Rupert Murdoch's behavior towards them.
Well, sure, and that's. Well, besides that, he's still in charge of that media outlet. If he says we're running this and not that, he still has the power to do that.
Oh, sure.
Step down or not.
Yeah,
and same thing with CNN, which is owned by what do you call it? I forgot who owns CNN now, but it's not Ted Turner. Time Warner owns
Time Warner. Yeah.
CNN. So I mean, it's crazy. I mean, the news it was always your place to find the truth. They were an investigative news channel place. You have these investigative journalists risking their life and safety to bring you the truth, and now it's just actors and actresses telling you a script that they were handed.
Right. Exactly.
It's what the newspaper are now. There's no investigative journals. Even at one time, Geraldo Rivera, actually, remember when he found Al Capone's tomb and all this shit?
Yeah. Not
his
tomb,
whatever.
Or
his vault.
His vault. Yeah. And there was nothing there.
Right. There was nothing in it, but that was still a cool thing. It piqued interest. We investigate. We found it. We don't know what's in there. We're going to open it up on live television.
It was the greatest hoax of all time on television. It's rated up there in the top 5 of the greatest.
But it
hoax.
wasn't. It is, but it wasn't a real hoax. It wasn't like an intentional hoax.
Yeah, it wasn't intended to be. They didn't know that there was nothing in there.
Mm-hmm.
It would have been cool to find a 1924 Cadillac or something hidden in
or
there.
His money or whatever,
Yeah, his stash money. No, his money was gone long before he died.
Sure, and but that was still a cool thing. It wasn't like we know this room is empty and we're going to open it and just give you this big build up for nothing. Right. I remember watching it to myself. Oh wow, I was all excited. Now it's like deflated tire, man. It was like bullshit. But I'd rather see the news like that. Let's get it wrong,
right.
Wrong. I'd rather them be wrong and admit it than to cover it up.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, the one guy who actually, there was a guy who did the tightrope walk that got killed on television.
Right.
Yeah, that was a long time ago. That was back in the 60s. So they stopped showing it live.
Right. Well, they didn't do it. That's not that they stopped showing it live. They put a delay on it.
Yeah. The NFL changed television as well, but when Joe Theismann got his broken leg. Mm-hmm. I'm sure you were very, very young when this happened.
I remember it. Yeah.
And what's his name? LT.
Mm-hmm.
Broke his leg, and
they kept replaying it over and over.
And finally, the NFL stepped in and said, "Dude, you can't fucking do that, man. You just show it once or twice and be done with it."
Well, now they don't. They try not to show if it's too gruesome. They don't show it, and they used to show like if people got out on the field naked and streaked, they would show it real quick. or whatever.
Yeah.
Now they pan away from the idiots on the field, and that's a good idea because now you're not risk as much to go on the field.
Right, and not only that, it's like, you're not showing off like you thought you were.
Well,
it's
if
not
a
enticement.
Running across the field, more people would try to do it because I want to be on TV.
Yeah, I want to be on TV, exactly.
But the only thing that they're going to show you is you in handcuffs going to the back,
Mm-hmm.
And there is a jail cell in every NFL stadium in the basement.
Oh, there is. It's in the basement in every
might
baseball
not be
stadium
bars
too.
or nothing, but it's a room, locked room.
Yeah, and then they bring the cops in and they interrogate you, and they decide whether or not they're going to cite you or take you to jail.
Oh yeah, and it's real, and you're going to get something if you disrupt an NFL game or any kind of sporting event. You're going to get a fine, arrested, something. You're not going to get a good team spirit and go home.
Yeah, you're not going to get a pat on the back for that. You just fucking interrupted a $4 million football game. You know what the hell's the matter with you?
And not only that, you were probably drunk, so you're going to get a disorderly conduct.
Well, not back in the day though. People who did that shit were pretty much straight or stoned. You know, remember back in the day when streaking was popular?
That was the 70s.
We had some asshole streak in our high school. Like, we wanted to see that. What's wrong with you? At a high school football game. You know, nobody wanted to see that.
It was always men that streaked, though. The women never really streaked, did they?
I know, no guts, man. So you're out there running with your pecker hanging out in the wind. What the hell's the matter with you?
Reminds me of that movie with Will Ferrell where they were going to all streak, and he was the only one that did it. And he's running down the street all drunk, and he's you remember that movie, Old School?
Old School, yeah, I've seen that. Yeah.
Frank the Tank.
Frank the Tank. Let's get Frank to do it. He'll do anything, right?
You were Frank the Tank, weren't you?
No, I was not a Frank the Tank. I was not, definitely not. I wasn't into all that shit. I was more a nerd than I was anything else. I was stoner. That was me. I was a stoner. You
probably had a comic book collection too, didn't you?
No, I didn't have a comic book collection. I had a baseball collection. That's normal. I didn't have cartoons. I collected porn magazines I found in dumpsters. I had several of those under my bed.
Like Hot Boys and stuff?
Oh, no, it wasn't Hot Boys. You sick fucker. You almost had me saying yeah. You know?
You can tell the truth.
Yeah, no, I didn't. No, I wasn't into boys. I was into women. So my mom found them, and she didn't mess with them. She left them there. She goes, okay, boys will be boys. And then she reminded me, for privacy purposes, you should lock your door just in case. And I said, okay.
You little fucking pervert. No one wants to see you masturbate. Lock that fucking shit.
Yeah. And, I took care of myself single-handedly, I had to. I had no choice, man. It wasn't like I was getting laid.
Did you use the conditioner bottle?
No, but I didn't use a conditioner bottle. Let's just say I took my time.
Good things come to those who wait.
That's right. So how about you? Were you a consistent jacker-offer?
Still am.
Consistently jacking off. It's a shame, ain't it? You're in your 40s, ain't you?
I am.
You have
40s. Early 40s.
Early 40s, yeah. That's a shame. In your 40s, married, and got to jack off every once in a while.
I don't have to.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it is what it is, right?
Hey, if God didn't want you to touch it, He made your arm shorter.
So, what do you think of the idea that we are an alien experiment?
Well, there could be some truth to that.
There could be some truth to that.
They do say there's old cave drawings that have what do you call it, like flying saucers and aliens in it and shit. So you never know.
Right. You never know.
I mean, what do you think?
I think that there's some possibilities to that. I think it could possibly be that missing link in our DNA that they came down and they mated with our beings on our planet here, and they populated enough to get the ball rolling. Because humans didn't just magically appear. Sorry.
Right.
They didn't just,
Well, what they say, there's reports that I read that said that there's higher beings called the Anunnakis who were they need gold, and gold is what makes their planet survive, and they don't have any. So they found the place with the most gold, and that was the Earth, and they didn't want to mine the gold, so they mated with the Cro-Magnums and made them intelligent and made them smarter people to enslave them to mine for the gold for them. That's what I've read in things. But there's a lot of everything that you read. There's no truth or lies to everything. There's got to be some truths and lies to every story told throughout history.
Yeah.
There's got to be some form of truth in that story for it to be started.
Okay. Yeah.
What it is, I don't know. It's just like nobody's ever can explain how we got here in the first place. It was God, it was the Big Bang Theory, it was aliens. Nobody knows for sure. So until there's definitive proof, I choose to believe nothing. In that realm of how we're just here. Who cares?
Yeah, I mean, you can look at it that way. You could look at it that way.
Do I want to know? I absolutely. But how are you going to find out?
You're not gonna.
No, you're not gonna, because there's been times through history where records have been destroyed, so people just made the shit up. So who knows? Half the things we've been told in our life, probably 80% of it are made up fabrication or stories.
Like Santa Claus.
Well, we know that one is, but I'm talking about shit like not dinosaurs, dragons, and all of this. Maybe that's not fairy tales. Maybe that's truth too, and maybe some of the things we're told are fairy tales of what happened. You don't know, because
so they're hiding. They're hiding the truth. Okay, let me get this right. They're hiding the truth through.
I don't know if they're hiding the truth,
making it sound like a tale.
Well, I don't know if they. Oh yeah, right. In those aspects, right? Yeah, that could be, is what I'm saying. That could be a possibility too. But I don't think anybody truly knows the truth on a lot of things. It's all speculation and made up opinions in a lot of things. Right. Just like the whole all the religions in general, and I won't single out any one religion. But you're believing in stuff that's passed around from generation to generation, stories that were passed down. Those stories, yourself, if you tell a story and somebody else tells a story, and by the time the seventh person hears the story, it's totally different.
Right.
So there's got to be some cases in history that have that too, where the story just got altered by passing it down from person to person. So what's the real truth? Who knows of anything?
True, that's true. I mean, you got to think. You got to think outside of the box sometimes. Yeah. And if it makes sense, then believe what you want to believe in.
But a lot of things that we do believe in don't make sense. Free ride.
Well, yeah. I mean, so I'm beyond the belief of miracles and all that crap. I really am. I mean, divide the ocean.
Still believe that.
Yeah.
People still believe that. So we believe in a lot of things that are not necessarily ever going to happen. Like you said, a miracle. Just because something happens good, that doesn't mean it's a miracle. It just fucking happened, and it just happened. I mean, who knows? I mean, coincidences happen. It's not so much. Maybe it is a miracle. Who knows? But it could be just coincidence too.
Sure.
That these people were starving and they found a $100 bill, and so they got some food. Oh, it's a miracle. No, it wasn't. Somebody dropped a fucking $100 bill and you found it.
Yeah, that's right.
It was lucky.
You got lucky. It was fortuitous.
Right.
It was fortuitous.
That's what I'm saying is a lot of times people just believe mythical things anyways, and they believe them as reality, but believing other things that's stupid. But yet you believe in mythical and faith and fake things every day.
Right. That's true.
There you are,
folks. There you have it. There you have it. You got it right there in a nutshell. It's like love, And speaking of love, right now we're going to be in Love the Hate. We're gonna play Love the Hate Addicted, and Addict is what it is actually, not addicted. Addict. Yeah. And it's a great tune, and it's in our rotation at kgfrocks.com. From now on, we're going to be featuring, when we don't have a musical guest on, we're going to feature a band that's been on our show in the past. And tonight, because I got a chance to see them last night, this is right here on kgfrocks.com. Conjugal visit. Love the Hate.
something wrong inside. This thing that runs my life, it holds me down and I make myself fall down. I'm tired of being last to taste it. I'm tired of wanting life I've wasted. I need this to comfort me. Without it, I can't breathe. You won't set me free. The pain makes me fall down. I'm tired of being last to taste it. I'm tired of wanting life I've wasted. I'll give you up. Oh, wow, that way. Slow down the harm you've made. You've made it fall down. I'm tired of being last to taste it. I'm tired of wanting life I've wasted. I'm tired of being last to taste it. I'm tired of wanting life I've wasted.
Good song. Really good song. That was a dick. Addict.
You're a dick.
I'm a dick. Addict.
Yeah.
Love the Hate. And we'll be playing another one from Love the Hate a little bit later, a little bit harder, hard driving song coming up next on our next break. But that was brought to you by Voodoo Queen Magazine. And we're proud to have them as a sponsor for our show here at KGFRocks.com. Okay. Hey, with us in the studio or actually in their own home. You guys in boxers or you guys got blue jeans on or what, man?
Naked.
You're naked? Okay, very cool, very cool. And I'm in my boxers, so we're all comfortable then.
I'm naked, but I'm really hairy, so it's like I got a sweater on.
You got a sweater on. I see. And we've got in the studio with us Tim, and we've got also Phil with us, and they are from Death Metal, right? Death Metal STL.
Death by Metal.
Death by Metal STL. See, I even live here, and I don't know. I'll screw that up, man. Don't leave it to me to do that, man. Don't leave it to me. I'll fuck it up every time. But hi guys, how you doing?
Great.
Awesome. Great. Yeah.
Yeah,
cool.
we were talking before on that little break there before when you brought you guys in about what got us into the rock and roll, and I had said Kiss, and then when you said Van Halen and Iron Maiden, I believe, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's me. My older uncle actually would go to like Kiss concerts and stuff like that when when he was younger, and he would come home and bring all this stuff to me. So I would sneak into his room like every cliche story and try to listen to stuff. But I listened to Kiss a lot and whatever. But my grandfather was into Elvis and all this country and B.B. King. So I had wide variety of music at my disposal.
Well, that's cool. That's real cool. And Iron Maiden, that's probably
that was my first concert.
Arguably, in my opinion, one of the best metal bands, hands down, ever.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm more of a, I grew up in the 80s, so I had the satisfaction of knowing them when they were really popular. But at around the same time, my genre changing band came out. And I'm not talking about the new stuff, but the old Metallica was where I really explored the metal genre. They got me hooked on it, and then they left us all. But, they're still out there rocking, which is good. But Iron Maiden never changed. They just developed their sound better. But they didn't change who they were.
No, they didn't. And I think that bands doing that didn't change, like Megadeth and Anthrax didn't change. Slayer didn't change. And Metallica, I think, just found a way to make money like the Rolling Stones. And just like, okay, we can just keep on doing this till we're 80. But I don't know. The thing about it is music has changed so much from when we were all kids. Now, right. I get a kick from, I get a kick out of talking to people and interviewing. I was happy as a kid. We're interviewing the bassist from Wasp,
Johnny Rod.
Oh,
Johnny
cool.
Rod, on Tuesday or on Monday tomorrow, and I was like flipping out. I was like, oh my god, because Wasp was one of my favorite groups.
We tried out interviewing him 3 times. He canceled on us 3 times. So good luck. Good luck to you.
See you later, man.
Well, maybe he'll cancel. I've got his phone number. So, but
if he doesn't, let him know that the guys at KGFRocks.com kick ass, and we want an interview with him. Okay?
Oh yeah.
Maybe you can share with us.
I know what you're saying too, because that's really cool. And he was in the early Wasp. He wasn't.
Oh yeah. He was fucking phenomenal. I've never seen Wasp. Never.
No.
Never.
I never have. I used to like them. Was their guitar player Chris Holmes? Wasn't it? Or what was there? I think it was.
I tried to get an interview with this guy, get Chris Holmes, and that was he called me, and it was the worst conversation I think I've ever had with a human being. So out of it. And I don't think he was drunk. He was just kind of just out of it.
Well, he was. You ever see that movie he was in, The Decline of Civilization?
Yeah.
Yep.
Just sitting in the pool, vodka the fuck out, man. Just like.
Yeah, he's just like gone.
And that's him. I think that's really him.
That is him, because when he called, he was just like, is this Tim? And I'm like, yeah. And he goes, yeah, you fucking messaged me about doing an interview, and I'm like, yeah, hey, can we do it? And he's like, oh man, I'm on tour. And I'm like, you're not touring anywhere. And it's like,
Right.
it's like he just kind of kept on he kept on going on about it. And I'm just like, dude, do you even know where you are? I mean,
yeah. It's funny as hell when they go over the cliff, right?
Yeah.
When you think about it, when you really think about it, after they're either
He's
dead
gone.
or gone or somewhere in prison, or you just don't hear from them anymore. These are the guys that are just fucking out there, man.
Yeah, they are. One of the best interviews I ever did was the original drummer of the Circle Jerks, Lucky Lure.
Yeah,
and
it was awesome.
When we called him, we did the whole interview for like an hour and a half at a party he was at.
Yeah.
And he was like drinking and partying, but he was the most entertaining interview we've ever had. And it was like, this guy's really fucking rock and roll, dude. He's at a party at a club interviewing.
Doing an interview with us.
And he was professional and just so many great stories. And, it's these then we had the drummer for King Diamond on, another one who just told, we get drummers on a lot. I don't know why. Drummers and bass players, Yeah.
It's because the lead singers are all divas, man. They don't want to talk to us, man.
No,
for me, it was Ozzy. You were talking about music. 11, my cousin gave me 2 cassettes, Ozzy, Blizzard of Oz, and a Hank Williams tape.
Oh, wow.
Listened to both for away the Hank Williams.
Well, that's a fucking spectrum right there, from Hank to friggin' Ozzy. That's like opposite side of the spectrum completely. But in the same token, Hank Williams was a rebel at his time. Man.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
He was a badass back in the day, you know. And to me, some of those old country guys were more rock and roll than some of these fucking little.
Him, Johnny Cash, Roy Orbison, all those guys. Those were rockers, man. They weren't fooling me for a fucking minute. They were true rockers. They liked it better when the rhythm was up and the sound was louder, and they just loved it. I mean, Johnny Cash was a big fan of rock and roll, and you know he didn't like the selection of the genre for him for country.
He was also a big fan of pills too. So
he was a big fan of fucking Black Beauties
and beating women.
Yeah, right. Well, I wanted
women.
to ask you guys, there's so many genres of metal through the years, okay? And do you think there's one certain time period or genre in metal that killed the scene or hurt it? I think I have one. I don't like the emo metal, you know, of the of the 2000s and stuff like that. That's my opinion. But what about you guys? What do you think? Is there the rap metal, whatever, something that kind of ruined metal, set it back?
Well, I've always been a fan of course, thrash, but also hair metal, and I think like the hair metal, sleaze metal stuff. I think it stayed a little bit too long.
It did,
and it kind of it was just got too watery.
It did, and for the fact that fucking grunge, the 2-year genre of music, killed it, it tells you that it was too long. You know, I mean, because let's face it, grunge lasted about as long as Kurt Cobain did.
Yeah.
You know, it really did. And
I was a huge fan of grunge. You know, when it came out, Alice in Chains and Nirvana, Rage Against the Machine, and I know a lot of my friends were like, "Why are you listening to that?" And because it was fresh, it was something heavy. It was something new, because a lot of the stuff coming out in that genre of hair metal was just, you know.
Well, what I think happened with hair metal is, for a while it worked because the 70s were over and now everybody was starting to be happy again. Let's sing about rocking and partying and sex and drugs and just having a good time. But people were getting sick of that.
Yeah.
You know, life wasn't emulating what people were singing about. People weren't having a good time anymore. They were miserable, and that's when grunge came in, and we're talking about real life things. And then when, like you said, bands about Rage Against the Machine, I'm not one for political rock, but I do like the music of Rage Against the Machine. You know, I mean, I would definitely jam on that all day long and not listen to the message because I didn't agree with some of the things they were doing, but you could still listen to it and enjoy it. Yeah. And the thing that always amazed me is that if you listen to somebody like Alice in Chains, get a demo from them 5 years before, they sounded like Poison.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
and they just changed with the scene. Same with Pantera. Pantera was a hair metal band too.
Yeah.
You know, and it's crazy.
I think my personal opinion with metal, because I went through a lot of stages when I was a kid, and I even listened. You know, I started out. My first tape that I bought on my own was a Metal Massacre tape, and I bought it from Kmart. And it had Metallica and Lizzie Borden and all these bands, Sabotage, I think, and I just kind of like flipped out. I was like, what the hell is this? But I think the downfall is when Guns N' Roses came out. And the reason why I say that is because that was the transition of a new beginning.
Sure.
But it was not going anywhere, because you realize that when Guns N' Roses came out, and that was the biggest thing since Sliced Bread, it was huge, and it stomped on everything else. But it kind of killed everything, because thrash was in this, like a freight train starting to come out this tunnel. But once I think Guns N' Roses came out, I think it really damaged that genre and it out.
Oh, definitely. And I think that they also prolonged the Van Halen era. I think they dragged Van Halen over that line
Yeah.
Well, now Van Halen, I think, became a totally different band in the 80s. Van Halen became a radio-friendly rock band in the 80s, where,
Right.
in the 70s...
But they still had that era where they went into, and then all of a sudden Guns N' Roses came out, and it was
Guns N' Roses was different because, and I agree with it, you were saying, because up to that point it was party music and whatever.
Yeah.
Guns N' Roses came out with...
ballads again.
Not
the ballad
ballads,
return.
In-depth songs that actually had some kind of a meaning or a story to it. And
well, they did a lot of covers. I think that they did a lot of covers, and they it was almost like they didn't have time to write their own shit.
Oh no, I disagree with that totally.
I've never been a total fan of Guns N' Roses. But I think Guns N' Roses, like I said, they brought back the ballads of near the 70s.
I don't think so. No, that's the Poison guys and stuff like that brought back.
Every hair metal band had they had ballads.
You had to write 8 rock songs and 1 to 2
ballads. And even thrash metal had ballads.
To thrash.
Right.
Thrash metal. Yeah. Every Metallica album, I wanted. Every Metallica album had that no lyric musical ballad that whatever it was in there. And I think for the most part, every metal band had it. Nowadays, that's what I miss. They don't do that anymore. Even the new genre of metal coming out, they don't do this ballad. And I think that's what's really missing from albums, just to play
Yeah, you're right.
Music.
Well, what happened, I think, is like people were taking in the 80s the rock from the 70s, like the Zeppelin, and then they were mixing it with like the Styx and the Journeys, who were doing ballad type stuff, and mixing it together, and making great, because now you're appealing to the women, because women love the ballads, they want to hear it, and I like the ballads too, but then you're applying to the men with the hard, heavy stuff, and like a band like Cinderella, who I would never call them glam, because I don't think they're glam, but they could rock your ass off and then play you a love song that you get your lighter out and hold your girlfriend tight. I mean, it's awesome.
I've been to some heavy metal shows and stuff that have been more like a fucking sword fight. I mean, have you noticed that they're not? I think the percentages of men to women who follow heavy metal is like 5 to 1.
Well, that's dependent. That depends if you're talking about Def Leppard or Anthrax. I mean, if you're going to a Def Leppard show, it's soccer moms and wearing the same clothes that they wore back 25 years ago, which they shouldn't be. And then
shouldn't be at all.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, right.
And then you go to an Anthrax or a Slayer show or something. It's a bro fest.
For the most part, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, you mentioned Def Leppard. I mean, I thought the first 2 albums were awesome, and then Pyromania, I think, started. Right. I think kind of almost a downfall a little bit.
Well, that's the first 2 albums were their actual metal albums.
Yeah.
And then they got their Robert John Mutt Lang came in and said, "You guys bitches want to make some money," and now they're set forever. And did they make the right choice? Well, financially, they sure hell did. But now, as far as will somebody remember this forever, I don't know. Yeah.
In the last few years, I put Def Leppard and Bon Jovi in the same category.
Oh, absolutely.
They're like the no solo rock band now.
Right.
Yeah. They tour with the Scorpions. They still tour with the Scorpions.
Well, we call them here in New York. We call them the soccer mom bands.
Yeah.
And we have a lot of them. There's tons. It seems like this whole summer concert festival was country bands or mom rock bands. The only 2 shows that coming through. I live in Buffalo, New York. That I have any inkling to want to go to is the Guns N' Roses show and Green Day. Other than that, every concert that's coming through this summer sucks ass.
Did Metallica come up here?
No, they came to Canada, close to us, but they never came here. And Iron Maiden went to Canada too. I'm like, what the fuck, people? Just come over the border just a little bit. I mean, I don't want to get no passport to go see Iron Maiden.
I was going to bring this up and whenever it was right, but my feeling of it is I didn't go to our Metallica and for another reason, but I didn't go. But I found out the meet and greet when they came out, and I was like, you know what? I want to meet this. Metallica was one of my favorite bands of all time. Still is. But I wanted to meet them. That's the most. That's the closest I've got is I've got Kirk Hammett's stepbrother on my Facebook, and I talked to the guy. And that's as close as I got to the band. But they wanted $3,000 fucking dollars.
I know it's nuts.
And to me, this is what's destroying metal.
It is, but okay, I agree with you 100%. But not defending them. That's the only way they make money now because they don't make shit
I agree
off
with
the
that.
records now, And I think it's too high.
$3,000,
and it's only like a 5-minute fucking meet and greet, dude.
To buy a car for $3,000.
Right, it is a little too much. It is.
Megadeth was $125, and I saw some buddies there that went. They were literally in the room less than 2 minutes.
Right, and
now,
it was.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, you're not going to get your money's worth out of that. Oh hi, how you doing? Get the fuck out of here! And the whole time he's got the fucking he's got the germ killer off to the side, and he's washing his fucking hands every time she shakes hands with somebody.
I actually got to meet Metallica and Guns N' Roses and Faith No More in the early '90s when they toured together.
Right.
Wow.
And not very long, I was just backstage, and Faith No More and Metallica were like pretty cool, hey, blah, blah, blah. But Axl Rose was the biggest douchebag I've ever encountered in my life. Right next to David Lee Roth. They like to fight for the douchebag award, and they're just bad.
Yeah, definitely. I heard that. I like the first 2 Guns N' Roses albums, but pretty much anything after that, it's hard for me to listen.
Oh yeah, Appetite for Destruction, when it came out, like one of you said earlier, it was game changing, and it was. It took what I feel what Appetite for Destruction was. It kind of took off where the Rolling Stones jumped the gun in the mid '70s when the Rolling Stones became more of disco pop band. It looks like Guns N' Roses just took from them and boom and took it over because Guns N' Roses had the potential to be the next Rolling Stones.
No, remember that time when Wayne's World came out and it was Aerosmith and all these it was just a mosh of crap.
Yep.
And it was just these bands that were just trying to survive, and new bands were coming out, and thrash metal was gone. It was toast. It was nowhere. And I remember that time. It was just so terrible because it was like Tom Petty and all the stuff that was really getting big. And they deserved their time, but it was just they didn't deserve the place that they were in.
John Mellencamp. And,
oh my God! It was awful.
The strumming of the guitar and the fucking.
Well, that's
and they were more suited to the video realm.
Well, no, that's the problem. That's the problem.
MTV
did that. MTV. What happened at MTV was its music when they first started. The only people that were giving them music were British bands and metal bands. Okay, so all of a sudden that's all they were playing. You saw Def Leppard all the time. You saw Iron Maiden videos. You saw all this shit. And then as MTV got more popular, they started to get big names, and those other metal bands and all that just got pushed right the fuck up. And MTV did that,
They did a show dedicated to metal.
They did a couple shows.
It was so popular that and nobody was watching their other programming at MTV, and all people were watching was the metal show. That metal show, wasn't it called That Metal Show?
Oh, That Metal Show, VH1.
It was so fucking popular they took it off the air because it was overshadowing all the other shows.
Well, Eddie Trunk, who does the other show there, he said not too long ago on the radio that calling every band from the 80s hair metal is ruining the image of rock and roll. He said they need to lose the hair metal tag and just call it metal or rock because people will say, oh, that's hair metal. I'm not going to listen to that. It's almost like it's taboo or you're an idiot or something if you listen to hair metal, But I don't
right? Go ahead.
All did.
There was a reason why Bon Jovi was selling 7 million fucking records because we all listened to him.
And that's the thing that kills me is that people don't understand. These kids nowadays, or these guys are 20-something years old or whatever, they don't fucking understand. When back in the day, Metallica toured with Guns N' Roses, they toured with bands like that.
Right.
They had no choice. I mean, Slayer toured with, I forgot the damn band, but there was a couple of hair metal bands that Slayer toured with.
Yep.
but back then it was okay. It's the same thing today because you have bands that, like, you know, Anthrax and so, and you're like, what is that? You know, what's that?
Dude, I seen a bill with Slayer and Stryper.
Oh,
Yeah, that'd be yeah. What I realized by talking to a lot of promoters in the area that about shows, because you know a lot of shows, I admit the Metallica show, I was not excited about the lineup.
Right.
When I talked to promoters, they said, you know, basically what it is there's no money to put like these amazing lineups together.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, there's no money.
There's more money in a regional show, like when the band is popular in a region,
Right.
than
There's also
than it is a national act.
It is. Well, the problem with it is if you do a national act or a touring act with all those big bands, it costs money. But if you do like a Lollapalooza where it's in one location, it's cheaper to do.
Festivals are huge, man. Festivals are,
but they used to tour. Festivals used to go around. The Lollapalooza went everywhere.
Yeah.
Now it's one place because
they went broke.
Well, the music industry's changed so much, you know, YouTube and whatever. I can see somebody live any fucking time I want to. I don't need to leave my house.
What would be really cool, and this is a great idea, I'm doing it right here on kgfrocks.com. What would be really cool is to have a concert festival tour of the nation, and in each city that we tour, you have a different band, two national acts that are different.
Yeah.
You know, at each venue, and don't have the same artist twice.
Right, but you're never going to see a show like Guns N' Roses and Metallica again. Never.
No,
And at that time, when that happened, realistically, those were the two biggest bands in the world at the time. And they both could have done their own thing. They could have. But the people bought tickets then. People bought records then.
Yeah.
You know, so you could give the concert so cheaper because you were making the money on the records. Where now, if you sell 1 million records, you're a fucking awesome artist.
I got a question for all of y'all. Hey, when was the last time you went to Walmart and looked at the CD section?
Oh, dude, it's been fucking years.
It's dead. It is so, yeah, they do. And every time I notice this, man, I'll go to Walmart to go pick up dog food and shit for the dog, right? And then I'll come back by and I'll just go into the electronics for a minute. And I'll look around over at the record section or at the CD selection, and there's nobody there, dude. Right. There's literally nobody buying CDs today.
Well, why would you buy it if you can, you know, get it online, even if you pay for it?
They just fucking download it today. And it's such a different atmosphere completely.
Do you know that albums, vinyl, outsell CDs?
Yes.
Yeah, because it's more of a collectible.
Yep.
It's starting to become a collectible now.
Yeah, I work at CD Reunion in St. Charles, and parents are bringing the kids in to buy vinyl now.
Right. And I like that. I've always liked vinyl better. Now I don't use vinyl because it's too much work, but I mean, it sounds better. The bass sounds better. For a long time, a lot of my songs, like when I heard them on digital, I'm like, wait, where's that crack? It's supposed to be that little skip or whatever. It changed music for me. It's like, oh my God, why does that sound so clear? You know, and at first I didn't like the digital age because I was like, it's not the same. And there's nothing that sounds analog recordings sound so much better than digital recordings. I really think so.
Definitely. Right. And there's nothing like Aphrodite's Child on vinyl. I mean, it was so crisp, it was so clean, and I used to listen to it on vinyl, and now I listen to it through MP3, and it's a completely different song. It really is. It's not.
Well, I remember going.
It's cleaner. It's cleaner than it was on vinyl, but there's no bass. There's nothing to it.
I remember in 1984, I turned 10 years old, and I had my first communion. I got all my communion money, and the first two items that I bought with my communion money was Van Halen 1984 and Prince Purple Rain, and I played the crap out of them two albums. And that was forced you kind of to listen to the whole album because you had to get off your ass to skip to the next track, you know. So you kind of just let it play through at least once
to flip it over. That's when AOR was still alive. When an artist, and correct me if I'm wrong, when an artist put out an album, all 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 songs on the damn thing were hits. were bigger songs, were better songs.
Well, I don't know about
And-
for everybody because I've heard some shitty ass.
Well, I've heard some really good. I've heard where I've heard where the B side is better than the A side. In a lot of bands like Wishbone Ash and
Well, it depends on what band you're
BOC.
talking about too.
Yeah,
Because newer bands, if you're a newer band to a record label, you don't get to choose what singles going out. The record label usually does.
Right.
But if you're a band that's been around for a long time, you control what goes out. And basically, as bands get older, you can tell that which singles they would release and which singles the record company release. But in not all cases that works, because one of my favorite bands, Kiss, they really, when they decide to go money making and do I Was Made for Loving You and all that shit, it kind of just killed me, and I still can't listen to that song because to me it's I just don't get it. You know what I mean? And
I still have my Dynasty poster.
Okay,
no,
folks.
yeah.
Okay, folks, I'm going to say it right here, right now. Yeah, I Was Made for Loving You is in our rotation at KGFRocks.com. And,
it is.
and I'm going to attest to you that Guido and I both hate that song, okay? But we have it in there because it's not about us, man.
Yeah,
It's about you, the listener. You know?
Well, I'm a huge Kiss fan, and I mean I have everything that Kiss has ever done, and even I've said to you earlier, I'm an Ace Frehley fan, and I'm an original Kiss fan because to me they were a lot like the Beatles, where 4 guys writing, singing, playing, and then money got involved and they became something else. They became a business, and that's when I stopped liking it.
Ace fan. I've seen him 3 times.
Mm-hmm.
Billy's Comet, big fan.
And he's still cool looking, even though he's fat now.
Yeah, I remember when on the Club 367. And
let me get Phil in real quick. Let me get you in, man. I wanted to ask you. I wanted to ask you. Now, if you had an interview with someone, okay, and you haven't had the interview with him yet, who would you want to be? Would you like to interview?
Oh wow, probably Ace Frehley.
Kiss makes a big comeback tonight. That's for sure.
Well,
and on the other side, let me ask Phil. Phil, what about you, man? Who would you like to interview, man?
Oh, yeah, Ace Frehley. That was me.
That was you. How about you, Tim?
Probably I would have to say Tom Araya with Slayer or James Hetfield with Metallica.
Oh, okay, cool.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
How about you, Guido? Who would you like to have on our show?
Do they have to be alive, or they have to be alive?
Yeah, they got to be alive. They
have to be dead.
Well, Ace Frehley would be cool, but they took them, so I would have to go with somebody that really inspired me so much, and that would be Steve Vai, because I just love Steve Vai. And I would love to pick his brain and, say, how the fuck do you do that? I mean, that's because I remember seeing him on the movie Crossroads, and I'm like, what the fuck is that? And I'm like, why does he sound like that? And it just was like, and then he came out with David Lee Roth, and I'm like, Van Halen who? All of a sudden, the first David Lee Roth album kicked the fucking first Sammy Hagar Van album's ass.
Oh, yeah.
Even Smile and 5150, there's no comparison at all, and not only was Billy Sheehan, who was from my hometown, on there, but Steve Vai, Greg. The worst person in the band was David Lee Roth, for Christ's sakes.
Right.
He's a douchebag, and I love him though. But he's Mr. Rock and Roll. He's almost 70 years old, and finally gets his first tattoo and just gets his whole fucking body done.
The guy I want to talk to is Kid Rock. I really want to have an interview with him.
Kid Rock's cool.
I'd like to do a video interview with him where I'm sitting with him and we're having a cold beer together, and we're just shooting the shit.
He's got to watch his image now, man. He's running for state senator.
Yeah, he's going to run for senator. He's got to be cool. There's no more smoking funny things. Which is, by the way,
not one of his tunes there. But, Kid Rock is actually cool. Kid Rock is one of those guys that, he came out in that rap rock genre thing with Limp Bizkit and all them. I was like, oh my God, this sucks so bad. But Kid Rock, I liked out of it. But that's, to me, guys, where I started hating, metal right around the time, Limp Bizkit and them came out. And I didn't start liking him again until a few years later when the band Disturbed came out. When Disturbed came out, it kind of came back to a little bit to the classic metal that we are accustomed to.
Yeah, I did like that.
Yeah, and now, unfortunately, bands of today, there's only a handful that I would even give credit to. Like, I like the metal band Ghost. I love Ghost. I don't know if you guys like them.
Oh, yeah, we know of Ghost.
Phil doesn't like them as much as I do. But...
Well, they're different.
But yeah, I agree that there's not that many new bands. A lot of the King, I think, is awesome.
Yeah, they're good. You know what's a good band, and I don't know if you could categorize them as metal, but them Crooked Vultures with John Paul Jones and Dave Grohl. Oh, that is just an amazing thing. Just to think of it, John Paul Jones is still. I fucking heard from him since the last Zeppelin album. It just comes out of the cave and plays it on awesome fucking music. That's a musician. Oh, this is the question I asked every metal fan. Okay, you have to choose. Who's the more metal? Zeppelin or Sabbath?
It have to be Sabbath.
Absolutely. Well, that's what I say. Absolutely.
Yeah,
I mean,
Zeppelin.
all Zeppelin.
I still think it's funny that that Zeppelin will not acknowledge their influence on metal. It's like a taboo.
Yeah, they don't want. They want to be more like rock and roll. They don't want to be metal. They're rock, but they don't realize they actually did do a lot for metal. They did. I mean, but if you break it back even more, I think the really first metal band it was fucking Cream.
Yeah.
Definitely Cream or Deep Purple.
Well, the way Cream's drums were, that was fucking metal drum. And well, same with Deep Purple too. Highway Star is probably the first song someone screamed like that in metal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Deep Purple actually, if you listen to Deep Purple, the best form of Deep Purple in the early '70s, it sounds a lot like 80s
they just put out a brand new album.
Yeah, but that's not Deep Purple. Richie Blackmore's not in there.
Yeah, no, it's not Richie Blackmore, but you can't have everything, right?
It's like having Led Zeppelin without Jimmy Page. That's kind of stupid.
Well, no, the voice sounded really good.
I think one thing that excited me about interviewing Johnny Rod, if we get the chance to do it, is there's a lot of pretty big musicians from St. Louis, and a lot of people don't know.
Right.
Like when we talked about it, there was a lot of people like, well, I didn't know Johnny Rod was from St. Louis. Or,
Right.
Guys like Bobby Schneck, who toured with Slash and
oh yeah, I know that name. Yeah. Richard Fortus too, isn't it? Or Bumblefoot, I mean. Which one's from St. Louis? It was in Guns N' Roses. Isn't it Ron Thal?
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, he's in Art of Anarchy now with Scott Stapp, I think. I don't know if you ever heard those guys yet, but they're actually pretty good. I would never say Scott Stapp is good in a band setting, but this band, it's a band that was started by Ron Thal and Scott Weiland, believe it or not.
Scott Weiland, yeah.
And then Richard Fortus, I mean. Yeah, that's who it is. He's from St. Louis, right? Or no?
Yeah.
Yes, okay.
The other guy, Felix Robinson, he started playing with Bob Cuban.
Oh, yeah.
Then he went to Angel.
Oh yeah.
707, and played with White Lion.
That could be good for you. Yeah.
And you guys also had that one band that glam band from the King of the Hill.
King of the Hill, yeah.
Yeah. I saw them open up for Bret Michaels on his solo tour in the early '90s. Because we had a rock club here in Buffalo that we used to go to all the time, and I met so many people there. I met Janie. I played foosball with Janie Lane from Warrant. Did shots with Billy Squire. I mean, it was like living in a fucking dream, man. It was like they just party with everybody afterwards. I mean, now you don't see that at all.
No, they don't do that.
Yeah. On a note with King of the Hill, last year they played Rockin' Skull. It was supposed to be Stryper. Stryper backed out because they had a tour, and I knew the promoter, so I contacted him. I said, "You should get King of the Hill to play." And I had to talk Frankie. I had to talk to Frankie and kind of get him in the mindset. He just did. I'm like, look, I'm a fan of 80s and 90s hair metal and hard rock, and the people that go to this show, they spend thousands of dollars on this stuff. And so finally I talked him into it. He agreed to do the show, did the show. And after they were done, he went out to his bus, then came back, and the line was wrapped around the building to meet the guys from King of the Hill.
Awesome. Well,
Yeah.
they were on national tours with people. They were up there. They were, you know, I mean, I know who they are, and I'm from
I
Buffalo.
saw you guys in Ohio. I saw you in Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
And they were shocked. Like, you know, Frankie thanked me like 3 times. He was like, man, I had no idea. I'm like, I go, it's big. It's big. So people still want to see.
It is. Now, you talk about Striper canceling. Have you ever seen Striper live?
Yeah, we
did.
interviewed him.
I've
Oh,
3 times.
Such great guys.
Yeah, we
They
interviewed
were.
him, and Michael Sweet was really cool, and I had a very not very good incident last year, and I told him what happened, and he like stopped the line. We were in a meet and greet, and he was like, "Oh," he like got his brother, and he's like, "This is the guy." And
That's awesome. I love his solo album. It's so, that one about the country music. It's so fucking true.
Yeah.
You know, yeah, it's so true. Sweet Lynch stuff is just amazing. I mean, I don't know why that's not out there. We have actually the whole Sweet Lynch album in our rotation because I'm just in love with that shit. And like I said, I'm not a big religious guy, but I don't go to Striper shows to hear the music. I got into Striper when I was listening to metal, and my friend said, "Here, listen to this," and I put it on. Didn't even really listen to the words. I'm like, "Who the fuck is this? This is cool." This was back in like 85, and it's stupid to say I don't like Striper because they sing about God. Who gives a shit? Black Sabbath sings about the devil. That doesn't mean I'm a devil worshiper. I just listen to it. You know, I mean, it's like music, and it's really good fucking music too.
I like them. I've always liked them, and there's a band called oh my god, Deliverance.
Deliverance, yeah.
Another religious band, and Tourniquet.
Tourniquet. Tourniquet's really good.
Oh my god, phenomenal. So, but it's of all the interviews that we've done, and we've asked so many questions, Michael Sweet kind of summed it up with, I said, what's the difference between playing back then till now? You know, with all the newer bands, what's the difference that you see? And he's like, talent. He goes, there's no talent nowadays. He goes, these guys make these albums, and it's just a bunch of crap thrown together. He goes, I'm not going to name bands. He goes, there are very talented bands and musicians out now, but there's not talent like it was back then because
they got lazy. They got lazy.
Yeah. He's like, we started this. He goes, we're the ones that made this up. He goes, everyone's trying to write off our coattails, and he goes, that's just not how it works.
Right.
Well,
I think too, though, maybe that kind of ruined music in a way because you're right. In the 80s, you had virtuosos, you had fucking drummers that were sick and sane, bass players that sounded like guitarists. It was maybe just too much for people, you know. And then you had bands that come out like Guns N' Roses who weren't always the best musicians, but they knew how to play together. And I think that appeals to more people sometimes because like bands when Green Day came out, Green Day is fucking simple. Nirvana, simple. But it appealed to the masses. So then people, I can do that too. But they got into music for the wrong reasons. Those bands perfected their craft because they wanted to make a quality product, not just be famous. Yeah, and nobody has to pay their dues anymore either. That's the part that it makes them all prima donnas. It's not like you have to fucking pay your dues anymore. You get a hit on YouTube, you're hit.
Yeah,
and it's
a journey.
Yeah.
Yeah, they got Arnell.
Right.
But I think another thing that killed music was radio. You know, because of the
definitely
music killed radio though. Music killed radio.
Yeah, I mean, thanks to like KGF Rocks, and there's a few other ones out there that actually play music again.
Right. Well, you know what it is, man? It's not that radio did it; it's corporate sponsorship did it.
There you go.
Yeah. Because now there's no independent terrestrial radio stations. There's some, but if you're a successful radio station, you're bought out by one of the big ones right away.
Yeah. All you have to do is come in second or third in ratings for a month, and they're out to buy you They just buy up everything that they can buy.
And then they cookie format, cutter format every fucking station they own, so that you're driving through multi-states, you can hear the rock channel and you'll fucking hear the same music all the way through, which is bullshit because there's more to music, and I'm not saying nothing bad about these bands, but there's more to music than AC/DC, Lynyrd Skynyrd, and Led Zeppelin. You know, I mean, classic rock stations are boring as fuck now. They're just boring.
Yeah, they play the soft stuff, man. They just
they play the same 4 or 5 songs.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Like we play those bands, like we play Lynyrd Skynyrd and stuff too, but we also play live tracks, the B-sides, demo tracks, shit that you would never hear on the radio, mixed in with the famous stuff too.
Well,
you know,
not since the 70s.
not just the 70s. Right. You know,
Right.
I mean, they used to do that, but that's how those bands like Mama's Pride and stuff got so big is they play everything. They'd play it on the radio, people would hear it. But I mean, we know a lot of DJs now, they're like, they tell us what to play. So.
Well, I'll tell you what. I know a real good DJ here in Buffalo who he says he just goes to work and talks. He goes, he doesn't touch a goddamn thing. It's all computerized. The commercials come in when they're supposed to. The songs are just automatically played. He has no clue what's coming on until he sees it in the queue.
Wow.
Yeah, and this is a big,
That's sad. That's
biggest-
sad for radio, folks. I just gotta.
What he said is the same thing that he's playing is playing on 16 other radio stations across the United States at the same time. So they have, what happens is the song ends and the timer will come up. You got 38 seconds to talk. And you got 38 seconds to talk because it's going to be start playing. Now every DJ at all these 16 stations has that 38 seconds. And then when it's done, they all play the same fucking song.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's bullshit. It's like pre-programmed brainwash. I mean,
folks, just to let you know, at KGF Rocks, all of our DJs, including myself, when we do a show, we program that show just for you. Also, our algorithm on our regular play, what it does is it plays off of our shows. So, Rob Boyer's show is a heavy metal show. So for a while, you'll get nothing but heavy metal and all these artists that you don't hear a lot, and then it'll smooth out again, and then it'll go right back up again.
Well, not only that, you might hear the Beatles, and then the next track you'll hear is System of a Down. And, and it goes, and you might think, oh, the Beatles and System of a Down. It works because I tell you what, it's rock. Rock is rock no matter what year it is. But the problem with it is that it's not the same old shit. Not too many radio stations. We play even, what's his name, the lead singer from System of a Down. We play his solo stuff. Who plays that? Who plays stuff?
Guys aren't a format. I mean, I go to Rob's house every once in a while and bring him some stuff to play, and he's like, "Man, that's awesome! I've never even heard that." He goes,
"Yeah,
let me get that so we can play it on the show." I'm like, "Okay."
Yeah, excellent
but
stuff.
Yeah, you're not a forced format.
And we don't want it to be. We never want it to be. Even like Rob, like you said, Rob picks his own songs out. He doesn't have to send them to me for approval. You just play them. The numbers, your numbers are going to be based upon what you play. If you keep playing shitty music, you're not going to get the listeners, and then your show's going to be gone. But you know what I mean? It's like,
you're not going to want to do it anymore.
Right. It's on you to do your show, and we don't tell anybody, and that's why it's so cool because Rob will play songs. I'll be like, who the fuck is that? And then I'll have to look it up because I never heard it before. And I love that when you listen to our DJs, you're going to hear something you've never heard before. I guarantee you, And like when I used to do my show, I took a little hiatus, but I did more of a blues format because I'm real heavily into the blues too. And I also think that blues is rock and roll. Just it's older, cooler brother. It's like it mixes well with rock and roll. So that's why this station works. Our only problem is we just need to get out to the masses more. And we were talking earlier about coming up with new show concepts and whatever. And I know for a fact that there's people interested. Even you guys are somewhat interested in doing a show, I believe, correct?
Oh yeah, I'm definitely interested. I tell Phil all the time, and I've told everyone that helps us with the magazine, we have to evolve with the times. And I do love bands that I grew up with, but unfortunately, the masses don't give a shit.
Right.
They don't give a crap about that. They don't care, and they don't whatever. But you have to form with the times. You have to expand. You have to bring people what they want. So if I have to interview a Miss May I or In This Moment or even a Five Finger Death Punch, I've got to do what I got to do.
Right.
It's not for me. It's for the people.
Sure, absolutely.
It's not about us, man. It ain't about us.
Not about any of them. Mm-hmm. But it's something that, like WASP is to me a very big group, and I one of my favorites. But I realize a lot of people don't give a shit.
But see, that's cool. Where if you can do a show, say, of newer stuff or whatever, you can always throw your WASP in there when you're getting your audience. Yeah, because that's what I do too. It's like, I did terrestrial radio for a little bit, and it was the most boring thing I ever did because it was all, this is what you play. I don't want to play that. It's like play Metallica, Enter Sandman. Fuck, that song sucks. Everybody plays that song. It's like I got so sick of it that I just gave it up and became a wedding DJ. And then that's like, this sucks even more. So I got into this because I can do what I want.
Well, that's the whole thing, and that's the thing about it is we can sharing not only the radio station but sharing the interviews and sharing the shows and then sharing the radio, our magazine, doing this and we've not just because we're from St. Louis. We deal with St. Louis a lot, but we're also in Germany, and we're also in Tennessee, we're also in California. We've got people at Scare LA right now.
Cool.
We've got a person that's helping us at the Sharknado review. But I realized when we started this magazine and from all the people that we've interviewed and all the local stuff that we've done and everything else, it's not up to us. It's up to the people that we interview and the people that we try to promote. If they don't promote themselves, then that's on them.
Oh, you just said the best thing you ever. That's God's honest truth, man. It really is.
You have no idea how many local bands that we push as much as we can that do not give a damn about pushing themselves, and they think that it's just going to come to them, and that's not how. That's not how life works. That's not how it
works. Oh, you're that good. They're going to just flock to you.
Well, even if you are that good, you still need self-promotion too, because we say that all the time, man. We'll have somebody on the air. We'll friggin' promo the hell out of the interview, tantric, whatever, and then I don't see them post one thing on their Facebook page or whatever, and it's like, why?
Why not? Why not?
They are. You're right, and they're coddled. They're spoiled. There's no, like I said before, nobody pays their dues anymore.
No one pays nothing. No one understands that it costs me money or us money to do this, and it's not. Do you think that I want to spend my whatever afternoon trying to talk to somebody I don't really freaking know to help their business progress while mine's suffering because you're not reposting the damn interview,
right?
Sharing it, and you think that it is what it is. I had a benefit, and we had a bunch of local bands, and I wanted a product from a local band, and I was just kind of like, I was like, oh, you finally got it in. I was paying money at my own fucking benefit to buy local things, local merch.
Right.
And local guys didn't get it. When I was younger, my grandfather had his own construction business, and he went out and he would buy $100 worth of shirts and hats, and he would hand them out. And I said, Grandpa, why are you doing that? And he goes, I'm not buying. He goes, I'm not selling out. He goes, I'm buying in.
Yep, he's right.
I'm spreading the word of my business. When Metallica came out, Overkill, all these bands in the 80s and 90s and whatever, and even hair metal bands, when they first came out, I know this for a fact because I fucking asked on the interview and they tell me. They handed their shit out. They just handed the damn thing out. They wanted the exposure. But nowadays, when you go to a damn show, you've got the local bands. They're selling just as much or more than the damn touring band.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's a fact.
And that is so true, because even today there's people like will call or email me, whatever, they want me to play their music on the air, whatever. Oh, okay, well, you can go buy it here. What?
buying shit.
I can what? You know, yeah. And it's like, you want me to promote you and then pay for you? I mean, no. You know, and not that I don't mind. I buy music all the time, but don't tell me that's how I have to get it to play you. You know, I mean, it's like, you're nobody, dude. You're some guy in fucking Jersey that thinks they're famous, you know, and it's like,
people do it here all the time. Like, I want to do a review. Hey, I want to do a review on the album. How do I get it? Oh, go to my website and buy it. I ain't fucking buying shit. I ain't buying it. We get free press all day long from Metal Blade and everything else under the sun to review albums, and we pick and choose what we need to do.
Right.
But the local bands, and God forbid, I love the local scene here in St. Louis, but they are some of them are the most ignorant and stupid human beings I've ever met in my life.
It's not just in St. Louis, man. It's all over. We have guys here in Buffalo who they're not famous, but they got their following here in Buffalo who think they're like, I don't know, Axl Rose or something. You know, I'm like, dude, you work at fucking Dairy Queen during the day.
Yeah,
you know, shut up. You know, and it's like, I want those kind of people on this show. Come on, because we'll talk about. I don't care. I'll fucking make fun of a Tool right on there. I don't care. You know, because you deserve it.
It kills me, and we've done a lot for the city. I've been through a lot personally with the city, and to be treated and to be, you know, to not understand, like, you have to promote yourselves, and you have to promote it in a positive way, and not everybody's going to like you, and not everyone's going to put up your shit, and not everyone, whatever, but to do as much as you can to promote the scene, and to have that audacity of just thinking that, well, we played at so-and-so, or we opened for so-and-so.
Right.
Me and Phil talk about it all the fucking time, how horrible it is. You know,
it's horrible. Egos are ridiculous in the music scene today, and I don't understand the reason why. Because I'll take any guitarist of today against any guitarist of the '80s, and you'll be fucking killed. You know, I mean, thrashed. I'll even give you, even Dave Mustaine's a better guitar player than most of the people today.
The thing about it is people. I posted one time. I was like, hey, I posted on my Facebook. I'm going to Slayer and Slayer and Lamb or Anthrax or whatever that tour came out a year ago.
Mm-hmm.
And some punk ass metal elitist bullshit black metal crap guy was like, Slayer fucking sucks. That's old shit. And I'm like, listen, they're 55 fucking years old. They've been touring since you were still sucking your mom's tit.
Right.
Hey, whoa. That's a freeism right there, dude.
That's what you stole in his.
He stole one of my lines.
You know what else is funny about the whole thing too is they're jealous of the bands before them. I'll give you Anthrax. Anthrax has been out with album after album, great stuff. I'm telling you what, their last album blew my fucking mind away, man. It's the best album they've ever done, and it's like they're getting better and you're not. So shut the fuck up. You know, I mean,
or like that metal. This is the black metal elitist. They come up with bands that you never heard of, and when you actually look up the fucking band, it's some Norwegian band that's in their basement, like a bunch of kids, and you're like, I love this band. I'm gonna buy a patch.
They're doing bathtub recordings and doing on their laptop, and you come to find out that there was no drummer. And I'm going, wait a minute, what the fuck is this? I mean, I've heard some stuff that is just, terribly bad. I mean, really, really bad. And they send them to us so we can put them on rotation. But it all goes back to production. Not only does it go to production to get your sales out there, to get your music out there, but how your shit's put together. Do it right.
I can't believe I'm going to agree with you on something, and I think you're right. I think that's one of the arts that we've lost in the music business is the production aspect of things, where everybody's self-producing and self-doing.
Yeah.
You're closed-minded if you're producing your own music. I think. Okay, I always think you need an outside voice to help you find your path, because you're going to be like, this is what I want, and that's it. Well, whoa. People are listening to this. Let me give you some advice at least. And, I think of, like Mutt Lange, who did all the Def Leppard and that. Yeah, he made his mark on music for sure. He changed Def Leppard into a power pop band, whatever. But, Pour Some Sugar on Me is going to be played 20 years from now still.
Oh, yeah.
Because
no
it was a
doubt
finely produced piece of music,
And it was. And there's shit in there. If you listen to that song, there's stuff in there that if you've listened to it again for the 50th time and you're 20 years older and you listen in and you go, whoa, wait a minute, he said what? And it's kind of like, it's like it's a revisitation to the lyrics of some of these songs.
That's just the Mandela effect, That's
the Mandela effect? Oh,
yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
but
I was thinking more like the Modelo effect.
Yeah, well, like in music too, like I was talking earlier, I don't like political music so much because it cuts through, it separates people, okay? And some of it's good, like in the 60s, all the political music was the most popular music, let's face it, but now I think bands should stay away from political type rock because you're alienating yourself, I think.
Yeah.
And Rage Against the Machine, so political. I mean, I hated some of the messages that they brought, but they fucking kicked ass. Tom Morello, I don't know what the hell how he comes up with some of these things that he plays. I mean, he's one of the last innovative guitar players. Him and Jack White, I think, are the last two innovative come up with new sounds, And there's this very good movie, if you guys ever get the chance to watch. I can't remember the name of it, but it's Jack White, Jimmy Page, and The Edge from U2. Just teach each other how to. Yeah, that's it. Teaching each other how to play their songs, and then I'm like, this is fucking cool, and it's like, wow. And that you don't see that anymore. There's no camaraderie anymore either. Like bands helping each other. Like in the early days, Ozzy took out Motley Crue and all these bands that were up and coming under his wing and taught them how to rock. You don't have that anymore. It's all each band is their own separate. They're businesses now. All bands are businesses.
We're talking about political stuff in the music. What do you guys, and I'm asking Tim and Phil here, what do you think about, I'm going to ask you this question, and then we're going to go take a break real quick, and we're going to do another Love the Hate song, and then we'll come back and we'll finish the conversation. But before then, I'm going to ask you guys, what do you think of musicians and artists who speak political bullshit during their shows? We'll be right back for the answer to that right after this. This is KGFRocks.com and The Conjugal Visit.
Just to stay alive. We've given all we've tried. They hold us down to live. A point we can't forgive. Change the way we are. We're tired of changing. We
the hate. Love the hate here on KGFRocks.com. And that was Bleed the Week. Bleed the Week.
That got me into all the early metal.
These guys are having conversation.
Yeah,
they're still having a conversation.
Talking over us.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, no, we're back on the air, guys. That was Bleed the Week by Love the Hate, and I had the opportunity to see them last night, and they were very good. They did an acoustic set, and it was kick-ass, and it was really good to see them fellas again. And we had them on our show, I guess, about 7 weeks ago. They're terrific guys, and I want to thank them last night. They gave me a couple of T-shirts and some CDs, so that was pretty cool, man. It was
it is.
Damn nice of them.
You know, I have to give, you know, like you bands in St. Louis and the guys in St. Louis, we've had a lot of them on this show, you know, and I'm here from Buffalo, and I am friends with all the musicians in Buffalo, and these fucking prima donnas won't come on this show. I'm like, are you guys kidding me? I mean, you're nobodies. Stop.
Yeah,
you know?
Stop it.
Well,
you're not worthy.
And the New York in whole, everybody is like, thinks they're better than they really are.
Yeah, but they're not. They're not better.
Well, some of them are good. I mean, some of them I can't say too much about
the guys I saw last night, and correct me if I'm wrong, Maximus was really good, and Conquest Metal was good. I didn't get a chance to see the last two bands. Who played last night at the end there, guys?
I think it was Murder Machine.
Yeah, Murder Machine.
I tell you what, Maximus, they've been on our show, and Blackie's been on our show, and their song Boomstick is one of my favorite songs. And I love being part of this radio station because there's music that we get sent to us that may never be heard from regional acts that is so good. Why the fuck isn't it out there? You know,
Right.
And I don't understand what's going on with the music industry now when I'm listening to stuff on terrestrial radio and I turn it off, but then these independent bands send me music and I'm like, why the fuck do I like this and not what they're playing on radio? I don't get it, you know, and what's going on? Something has to change. You were saying like a plague has to come and wipe it out. I agree with you, man.
Yeah,
I think
the locusts
we need
must
another,
come down
like,
and swoop down and sweep it up.
we need
because
another
it's a fucking
grunge
mess.
movement. We need like another grunge movement, another Nirvana to come in and shake the tree again, you know, and change music again. I don't mean grunge music per se, but just another band like a Nirvana to come out and totally shake the tree again. You know, and who's that going to be? You guys got any clue who's up and coming? That not, you know, I mean, I can't even tell you some of these new bands out there. They all look and sound the same.
Who's that?
Oh, Sons of Texas. They're a really good band. They have like a Pantera vibe going,
Right.
and they're young guys like.
Well, it's got to be young. That's what the thing is. But a lot of the things, and I hate to think that because I'm in my 40s that I'm relating more to bands of guys that are in their 30s and 40s. Well, yeah, because they grew up with the same things I did, the influences I did. But like you were saying before, people didn't. These kids today missed music. Like they missed the school. They missed something. They missed the Jimi Hendrix. They missed fucking the Door. I don't know who the fuck they missed. Yeah. But it's like they started with the 90s and that was it.
I think bands like, Lamb of God and Hatebreed and all these bands of that genre, they've lasted 20 years. I mean, they're almost 25. Goat War's been around for 25 years.
Right.
And that's something that they should be clinging on to, but they're not clinging on to those bands. Right. There's nothing that's coming out. I think that, to me, my personal opinion is there's nothing that's came out that's going to stick like a long, long time.
Right. Well, I won't even do review show. People will send music, mainstream music and do a review on it. I don't want to fucking break any ties that I have already by telling you this music sucks because I don't want to do that. So I refuse to do album reviews.
No, we do album reviews, but it's just something that, like I said before, it's the bands like, and I told Phil, it's like bands like In This Moment and Hell Yeah, and unfortunately Five Finger Death Punch and all this stuff. Those are the wave of the future. That's where we're going, and we do have thrash metal bands like Havoc and stuff like that that's coming out, but they're very political big bands, and like we were talking about before, but. To me, metal is taking a massive hit, and it's not because of the industry. It's because of the cities and the local movements.
Right.
Not supporting the bands
Yeah,
that they
no
need
support.
to.
Everybody's locked into where they are instead of thinking globally. And the bands that think globally do a lot better.
Right. Well, that's how it was in the 50s and 60s, though. You know, there'll be people that, oh, I remember this band, and I'll be like, I never fucking heard of that band, you know, and because there was a lot of regional acts through the 50s, 60s, and 70s, where now it's all corporate. There's no regional. Now it has to be that way again, because these corporate terrestrial stations are only playing the proven bona fide hits.
Yeah.
You know, so you're not going to get yourself.
They wouldn't be hits if it wasn't for them in the first fucking place.
Right.
So the people who are listening to terrestrial radio out there, and this includes you folks listening to KC and to everybody else, that's fine, man. That's fine. But when you get fucking tired of it, okay, get TuneIn Radio app on your fucking phone and just look up kgfrocks.com. And when you get fed up with all the bullshit on KC and the commercials and everything else that goes along with it, come on over to the dark side. We'll show you a good time. I guarantee it.
And I agree 100%. And that's why it's like I wanted to do a radio station with you guys, because it's like we have so much music that we could play that people may not know, but I think they will know, but just so many genres that we've interviewed. Like I said before, we've interviewed bands like Miss May I to Overkill or King Diamond and all these bands we've done. And I think that, you know, it's a great way to expose people and expose the industry and blow this out of the water and take this for another, you know, take it to another direction.
Right. Well, we you know, we were talking about that too, and you know, we'd like to, you know, continue talks on that because it sounds like a good thing. Like we have on Wednesday nights, we have these guys, they're podcasters called Podcast Rock City, and they're a KISS podcast, and they come in Wednesday nights and play a whole hour and a half of nothing but KISS related stuff. They'll do like not just KISS, but they'll do Vinnie Vincent, and they'll do like Bruce Kulick stuff, and they'll do, you know, Solo A stuff, and they also bring their podcast followers to the station. So it's pretty cool, you know, and we're very interested in developing new shows and stuff like Rob Boyer's show on Monday nights. Right. Rob is a fucking natural. I mean, Rob is like just the greatest personality ever.
Yeah, he's a super nice guy.
He is. And his shows he sounds like he's been doing it his whole life when he's DJing, and he hasn't. He's only been doing it for a year.
Yeah. So he sounds really good. And another thing we want to do is we want to keep going in that direction. And putting on shows. And KGFrocks.com, we educate our listeners. We just don't play the music. We educate our listeners, and I think people actually learn stuff from coming on to listening to our shows. And if you want to know about metal, you can come here. You want to know about classic rock, you can come here. And it all mixes, really good. So
it is, yeah. Yep. I mean, and you know, the same thing with it too is what you guys were talking about is your self-promotion. So say you come and do a show on our station, I know that you guys would self-promote it, and that's kind of what we need. And we have people on the station that just sometimes don't do enough self-promotion. You know, we have our Facebook profile and our Tumblr, Twitter, all this other stuff, but it's only going out to the people that follow us. Now, if each personality on the station shares, it's going out to people that follow them. So then they share, people go, that's the whole thing, is people don't get it. On social media only works if it's shared.
Yeah. You know, if you believe in your product, why won't you share your product?
Absolutely. It makes no fucking sense.
Yeah, and get out to the streets and pass out flyers.
We did a whole 9 yards. It's something that everybody's not gonna like you, and I understand that. But at the same degree, it's one thing that we very good at is we promote. We promote the crap out of stuff, and we do it really fucking good. And I think that people don't understand that if you believe in your product, then you promote it, and that's what we do, and that's why we're successful. To me, it's a testimony. If I reach out to a band and to get a hold of that band within days, is a big deal, and I got a hold of. I can reach out to any band. Well, we got Double Driver coming up. We got the Wall thing coming up. We're hooked up with Full Terror Assault. We've got Scare LA in LA. We got Days of the Dead. We're reaching out. We got Wiccan next year. We got Eindhoven Metal Meeting in the Netherlands. We got that coming up. We've got so much shit coming up, and it's unreal. But you have to believe in your system. You have to believe in your product and believe in yourself.
Sure. Well, I'll tell you what though. Radio DJs and personalities are a lot like musicians. They get false egos and, like, my show will promote itself. No, it won't.
No, it won't. No. It don't work that way.
No, it's like you said, your product you're selling, and if you're a band or a DJ or whatever, you are the product. So sell yourself, and get your name out there, get your product out there, and the more people what I find amazing, we're our Facebook page is there. We're music, okay. But when I share something about music, it gets a few likes and shares. But if I put a hot chick up there, man, that thing gets shared and
likes,
fucking,
man.
And it's like, so it doesn't matter. I'll post shit. I'll post cute little kittens if someone shares it and they come back to my page. It's just getting people's attention, and the more you share, the more and I'll have people like, you post too much. There's the unlike button right next to me. Just fucking unlike me. I don't care. This is why I'm on social media, not to make friends, to promote my business. And that's what it's all about. Also, a good quality content means everything. Just because, I listen to other radio stations, internet radio stations. Just because you can do an internet radio station doesn't mean you should. We're
going to be the way the plan goes is we are going to be a different style radio station, so different that no one else matches that radio station.
Well, we also spend the extra money. Like right now, this talk show is live, but when you come to the website, you have the choice to listen to this talk show or listen to music. Now, we give you the choice. We're not taking it, you're listening to our talk show. You got your choice, man. You want to listen to these guys talk, or you want to hear music? Right now, you might be cleaning your kitchen. You want to do some dishes. You might want to hear some rock and roll and not some, guys talk about it. Or vice versa. So you got a choice, and that's the thing that people don't when you come here. You can come to our webpage and play a fucking game of pool. We have a game page. We have a chat room. We have information. So it's a great place. And we're talking to you guys. Your shit about music too. I'm definitely interested in maybe working something out, and I know Free Ride is too. See what we can get going. And
would love to be on board and.
Yeah, I mean,
I said to him, I wanted to talk to you guys first because I don't know yet, and sometimes people.
Here we are, folks. We're setting up our station right here on the air, folks.
Well,
it doesn't get more transparent than this.
We're better than the fucking government. They know a lot about music and they can talk a good game, but until I talk to them. I'm so passionate about music. I mean, music is my everything. And when I came to get this radio station, it fulfilled a dream for me. I'm not making any fucking money. I'm paying more money than I'm making. Both of us are. But it was a dream of ours to have a station that we can hear. Our voice could be heard, and it's cool. And I'm not even into it to making money. I'm in it to knowledge of rock, and I think you guys could be an important part of that if we'll set something up. I don't know right now off the top of my head what the schedules are like, but you guys can do a lot of different things. You can even re-record your shows if you want, and we can upload them
on there.
So we can upload it. So we can talk about that afterwards.
One of the big things I do is every month I post talking about the venues in St. Louis, because a lot of people don't know the metal and rock venues in St. Louis anymore.
Sure.
A lot of them have closed. New ones have opened up, and they don't know where they are. Some of the big ones like Foo Bar.
And there are some nasty fucking venues out there, aren't there?
There are.
We're running out of time. But yeah, I mean, when we were talking earlier about politics in music. Does it bother you guys when an artist goes in and fucking just starts running his mouth?
On stage and live.
Or her mouth? Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. Then I'm not
Yeah,
the
we-
only one, right?
Yeah.
No, I think there's no place for like politics, religion, and certain things like you don't talk about at work. You shouldn't also talk about it in music. Unless you want to be alienated.
I
Like,
didn't pay to hear you run your mouth or
not only that, not only on the stage. Like, I'm sure there's people that don't listen to Stryper because they talk about God. There's people that don't listen to Rage Against the Machine because they're political, and that's where it sucks because your music should be accessible and pleasing to everybody.
Yeah.
You know, at least try to make it that way. And I've seen a lot of bands that try to do the political thing and totally fail, and then nobody wants to hear about them again. You're done. You're fucking labeled forever. Like when that singer from the Dixie Chicks went up there and talked shit about George Bush she got ridiculed. Where is she now?
Idiot. Yeah.
Well, just like OTEP. OTEP, she opens her damn mouth all the damn time, and
Right.
Look where she's at.
Right. They get blackballed. They really do.
Yeah, Roger Waters did the same fucking thing. He just bashed the hell out of Trump at his show, and a lot of people were turned off by it. It wasn't the fact that they were bashing Trump. We don't give a fuck what your political views are. We're just here to hear your music.
Yeah,
I paid
we don't need no education.
I paid $350 fucking for tickets for this fucking show. I didn't come here to get a political lesson.
Dude,
I came here to fucking trip on some Floyds.
I would smack you in the face if you paid $350 to see Roger Waters.
Oh, yeah.
That's what the tickets were going for, man. They were going for $125 a pop for the cheap seats.
Yeah,
that's $250 right there for 2 tickets, plus $100 to fucking park your fucking car. The thieving bastards.
$50 T-shirt.
Yeah,
$50 a T-shirt. Oh my God!
I tell you what, I am the parking lot T-shirt guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Buy all my T-shirts outside. I can't afford them.
Your T-shirts say Pink Flood instead of Pink Floyd.
I don't give a fuck. It's just
I'll go online and buy the damn thing.
Oh,
yeah, right.
I wear concert shirts mostly all the time, and
I think that's the worst thing I've ever done or had happen to me with doing these interviews. Is so many bands are like, "Oh, we'll send you some stuff."
Right.
They sending shit. They sending nothing to me. Very rarely I'll get stuff, but I will get things. But I'm just like, okay, cool. But
right.
I have so many bands like, oh, we'll send you our stuff, and we help. Will you help promote us? I'm like, yeah. They don't send anything.
Yeah, yeah. And then you get, what can I do for you? You say, well, you can send me a plane ticket and fly me down to Houston when I'm down there next week and get me a backstage pass so I can sit down and have a fucking conversation with you.
Watch the show.
Yeah, watch your show.
I was just reading this article just now. Do you know that this insurance company that took on the Guns N' Roses tour made Axl sign a disagreement that if he leaves a show or whatever, that he has to pay a sum of money?
Yeah,
I don't think he'd leave the damn show.
Right. Or the show doesn't go on or whatever.
I don't think it's the same Axl that we knew back in the day when he.
You know what? I was watching, and he lost some weight, man. He looks fit.
Well, he better lose weight. He's been doing 2 damn tours with AC/DC and Guns N' Roses.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's fucking.
He better be in shape.
He was at the fucking Golden Corral one too many times.
Oh my God.
Well, we're gonna go over the schedule real quick. Remember, there's Rob Boyer on Monday Night Metal, and we also have our guy Wild Bill Hill and Diamond and Free Ride when he feels like it, and Guido on the
Podcast Rock City on Wednesdays.
Oh yeah, Wednesday night Podcast City, and also you can listen to the replay on Saturday.
That's 2 p.m. And also, coming soon, Death by Metal, STL.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah,
that'll be great, man. That'll be awesome to have another, we're going to inform the listener, man. You want to get an education in metal or rock or classic rock, you can get it right here at KJ.
Well, I just had to basically hear that you guys talk because, being on radio, you can be the ugliest motherfucker in the world, but you got to have some kind of a voice, man. You know what I mean? You got to be clearly understood.
Handsome Dan, right? Handsome Dan.
Yeah, right. and it's good voices.
I just want to play the music. I want to spread the word of metal. I want to play my music, and I want to play the interviews and support everybody in a positive way that will help everybody out and stay away from the negativity. That's what I want to do.
That's awesome, and that's what we're all about. Is I consider us sometimes like Poison song, "Don't Need Nothing But a Good Time," and I miss those old '80s feelings of just good times when music just made you feel good, and
Absolutely.
it's gone, but we can bring it back, and we thank you guys coming on. This was a treat for us. I enjoyed the hell out of it, and I know we'll be working soon in the future, and it was a good night, man. What do you think, Free Ride?
I think it was awesome, man. I had a really, really good time, and I learned a little bit. For crying out loud, see, you get an education right here at right here at the Conjugal Visit. You get an education. I learned a lot, and when you do that in an interview, then God damn it, that was a damn fine interview.
That's right,
there's
and
no
that's
gray area
another
there.
thing. Too, that you guys got to remember. You come to a show here, it's not Casey. You can say fuck or whatever the hell you want to say.
Yeah, you're not restricted, man. Until you get syndicated onto a terrestrial radio station, you can pretty much say what you want. So that helps a lot and makes it worthwhile doing the shows. And then once you watch your population grow, your audience grow, it's well worth the time to do the show.
That's a good thing. Promotion is like Viagra. Take it and watch it grow.
It will. Everyone should go to Death by Metal STL and like and share the damn thing.
Right.
That's right. And here's another thing too. Maybe after doing your show here, we can have just Death by Metal magazine one day and be a total world domination magazine and radio program.
Oh,
Right.
it will be.
Yeah.
Education, man. Education is where it's at, dude. Well, listen, we've pretty much beaten this one to death. I want to thank the fellas over there, that Phil and Tim. Thank you so much for coming on the
You're
show
welcome.
tonight. We had a great time tonight, and you folks out there listening, there's going to be a lot more from these guys. We did the entire hour and a half interview. And it was just, you know what it was? It was a fucking conversation. And that's what rock and roll is all about. It's not about interviewing, asking the hard questions or asking the easy questions. It's all about having a conversation and building a friendship, and that's what I hope we did with you guys.
Oh yeah, and that's the thing about interviewers that people don't get. If you ask the questions, people aren't going to answer them. But if you talk, all the information is going to flow.
Yeah,
That's right.
that was a lot of fun. And we're going to talk after the show, folks. You're not going to get to hear it all. This was just a hint to you guys out there listening. So thank you so much for listening. I want to thank VQM, that's right, Voodoo Queen Magazine and Management. I want to thank them for a great show last night. Also want to thank Love the Hate and Conquest Metal and Maximus and all the guys out there that we mentioned on our show tonight. And thank you for joining us. All of you out there who listen to KGFRocks.com, spread the word, tell a friend right here, KGFRocks.com. Everybody say good night. Say good night. Good night.
Spread the word, not your legs.
Spread the word, not your legs. Good night, everybody.
You guys stay there.
It's Sunday night, and this is the Conjugal Visit on KGFRocks.com.